Hello there friends, we are just minutes removed from the Nintendo Direct for September 2019. They broadcasted it to the world all over the internet, and it was a doozy. It was a weird Direct in that usually you come out of a Direct with like 2 or 3 big headlines, a bunch of little stuff. Whereas this one, there's obviously the big headlines. There's a new Smash character, there's a bunch of other stuff. But it was like, here's a really, just a cavalcade of smaller things. Like, I've never played Deadly Premonition, but Deadly Premonition 1 is out in the Nintendo eShop today. And also Deadly Premonition 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch next year. Tetris 99 is getting a 2.0 update that has even more themes, and I love those themes. Those themes bring me joy in life. Jedi Knight 2 is coming September 4th, being ported to Switch. Assassin's Creed Rogue and Black Flag are coming to Switch as a 2-pack on December 6th. Doom 64 is being re-released. There's a lot of old games. I'm a fan of old games. I want the Switch to be the system that just I can play every game from the year, I don't know, like 2015 and earlier, plus Nintendo's new games. That's all I want out of Nintendo Switch. That's all I need from that system. But Doom 64, November 22nd. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, January 17th, being ported from the Wii U. I bought it on Wii U, never played it. I saw it in Directs for, I don't know, it felt like that game was in Nintendo Directs, every Direct for like 3 years. And I'd see every trailer and be like, what even is this game? And I think I will eventually play it on Switch maybe, even though I have it on Wii U. And I never played it on Wii U. I played most of the games on Wii U, but alas. That's coming January 17th next year. There's a new Kirby game out today, Super Kirby Clash. It's like a boss fight game. You team up with a bunch of people and you take on a bunch of bosses. But those, I probably missed some stuff. There's a lot in, because there was a whole Animal Crossing trailer, which I'm not going to include in the top 5, as I'll count down the 5 the kind of biggest stuff. I don't know. Who knows at this stage? But there was like a whole Animal Crossing trailer. It was all stuff we heard at E3, so that's the reason I'm not going to include it in the top 5. But like, there's this it's a 5-minute Animal Crossing trailer with a bunch of new Animal Crossing footage. While it didn't have the Breath of the Wild 2 or the Link's Awakening or the Mario Maker that the Directs so far this year have had, it had a bunch of other stuff. And a bunch of really cool other stuff, and let's get into it with the 5 most interesting announcements from today's Nintendo Direct. Starting with number 5, it's one we knew, it's one we leaked. Sadly, the Overwatch case isn't coming to Smash. No, Overwatch is coming to Nintendo Switch. It is out October 15th. It has gyro controls, which looks pretty cool, and like it's one of the biggest games of this generation. It's one of the biggest multiplayer games in the world right now. I played it for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. It's a cool game. Will I play it more on Switch? More than likely. Will I buy it on Switch and never play it? Also a good chance. But regardless, it's Overwatch on Switch. It's a big deal, even if it was leaked like 3 separate times. Number 4, something we saw in this Direct last year, in the September Direct last year, was a little game from Game Freak called Town. And it looked real cool. It looked like a really nice game. Some people who hate Sword and Shield kind of revolted against it because it's killing Sword and Shield or something like that. I don't know. I can't even keep up with those narratives. But yeah, it looked like a really cool little game, and we heard absolutely nothing about it since. Town went dark. They put all the lights out in the town, waiting for everybody to hear more, and we heard more today. We finally got a title, which was trademarked recently, but it has been made official. Little Town Hero is the name of the game. The music in the game, or well, the way they phrase it is most of the music in the game is from Toby Fox of Undertale fame, who we will be talking about more in a moment, because there was a lot of Smash stuff coming out of this damn Direct. And it was like a double Direct. It was the Direct and then there was like a Smash presentation afterwards, because, well, we'll get into it in a second. But yeah, it looks really cool. It looks like this kind of strategy RPG where you're defending your town from monsters and you're moving around the town to the different townspeople to take them out and fend off the monsters. I think it looks like a really cool game. I'm very excited for Little Town Hero, and we don't have to wait too long. It's out October 16th. There is far too many games out on Switch soon. The Witcher is out around then, Overwatch is out that week, and frickin' Town, or Little Town Hero, as it's called now. And it looks just as good as it looked a year ago, and now we have a release date, and it's a month away. Gosh, there's too many games. There's too many games. Xenoblade Chronicles HD, this was the big closer. I'm not sure it's a closer status, but it is for some people. But Xenoblade Chronicles HD is coming to Nintendo Switch in 2020. This was originally released on the Wii in 2012. It's fascinating, the history of this game, because this game wasn't localized, and there was a big fan campaign to get this game localized. And then they're like, well, you want it? You got it. We'll put it on Wii. And, you know, it's a big, sprawling open world RPG. The Wii did its best, but the Wii couldn't really contain that game. So they're like, how do we get the most out of it? Let's port it to new Nintendo 3DS. And then you're like, oh, that's still not the way I want to play that game, because I played it a little on the Wii. I love Do I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2? I like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but it has a tremendous soundtrack, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. I played about 10 hours of the first Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. But yeah, so they ported it to new Nintendo 3DS, and then you're like, guys, you didn't want to reduce the hardware power running that game. You wanted to increase it. And we're finally getting that next year, as Xenoblade Chronicles HD will be released next year. Shulk and his journey and his adventures will be brought to a whole new audience, and hopefully they'll be able to do the justice that game, I think, visually deserved at the time. Because visually, that game is a stunning game held back by the fact that it was a freaking gigantic open world game running on the Wii. And hopefully 2 generations later, that game will find its home, its true spiritual home, with HD graphics on Nintendo Switch next year. Number 2, just tons and tons and tons of stuff for Smash. Far, far too much for Smash. Obviously, the new character, Terry Bogard from SNK, from Fatal Fury, coming in November. I know nothing about Fatal Fury, I'm totally ignorant, but he looked pretty cool, and the trailer revealing him was pretty darn awesome. All of those Smash trailers are tremendous, but I'm the very wrong person to talk authoritatively about anything to do with Terry Bogard, SNK, or Fatal Fury, other than telling you that he's coming to Smash in November. But not only that, there is so much more Smash news. Banjo-Kazooie is, of course, out today. So Banjo's out today. Banjo looks real good. They have 10 music tracks, 7 of which are remixes. There was a point in the presentation with Sakurai where he was like, if you would like to play the original Banjo-Kazooie game, go play it on Xbox One. I'm like, cool guys, thanks. But nonetheless, Banjo out in Smash today. But there's not only that, there's a new mode coming. There's Home Run mode is back. You beat up that damn punching bag and you send it flying with a baseball bat. That's back, and he said that's probably going to be the last major mode added. And then they unleashed Mii costumes, which usually you're like, oh, Mii costumes, who cares? Until there was a Sans Mii costume. And then you're like, they put Sans kind of in Smash, and not only is it a Sans Mii costume, that Sans Mii costume comes with a remix of Megalovania by Toby Fox. So Megalovania is a song in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that leaves me very excited. The way that game encompasses just video game history is the coolest, but that's not it. That's not all the DLC news. There's going to be more DLC. And you might say, of course there's going to be more DLC, Garth. There was 5 characters announced that they only revealed 4. Well, on top of that other 5, they've stated they're going to release even more DLC fighters on top of the Fighter Pass. So you have the 5 in the Fighters Pass, and even more are coming after that. It's crazy. Sakurai at the end of the video was like, I don't think anybody is ever going to be able to top this, so I'm just going to keep putting characters in the game while I can. Fair play to you, Sakurai. And for me, the biggest announcement in this Direct, an announcement I've been waiting for far too long. Coming tomorrow, Super Nintendo games are coming to Nintendo Online, and I'm so incredibly happy. I was sick of those NES games. Even though I recently told you how good Vice Project Doom is, I'm sick of them. I want new SNES games, I want new Nintendo Online games, and we've got them. They're finally bringing Super Nintendo games to Nintendo Online. 20 games are launching tomorrow, September 5th. Those 20 games are Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Kart, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero, Stunt Race FX, Pilot Wings, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Kirby's Dream Course, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Demon's Crest, Super Soccer, Super Puyo Puyo 2, Breath of Fire, Brawl Brothers, Super EDF, Super Tennis, Joan Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics. I haven't played like half of those games. That's like, there's some interesting deep cuts in there. Apparently Stunt Race FX has never been re-released since the original Super Nintendo release. So it's not like your usual suspects. It's not the exact same games that were on the SNES Classic, or that were on every other virtual console released since the start of time. Some of them, obviously, you can't leave out like Super Mario World or Super Metroid or A Link to the Past, but there are some really cool, interesting games, and they're coming to Nintendo Switch tomorrow. Thank you to the Super Nintendo Lords. SNES games are here, and I can play them on my Switch without having to break out my Wii U, or my 3DS, or my actual honest-to-goodness Super Nintendo. And I am incredibly happy. Thank you so much for watching. What was your most hyped thing coming out of Nintendo Direct? Is there anything that I didn't mention? Because as I said, there was like a ton of little things. This was the Direct of like death by a thousand cuts, as opposed to 2 cuts, super deep cuts, even though it's the opposite of death. It's happiness by 1,000. You get my metaphor. What did you like most? What are you most excited for? What are you looking forward to coming either this year or next year? Let me know down in the comments. Yeah, it was a good Direct, especially combined with the freaking all the Smash stuff that came after. That's just like so much stuff. Too much stuff. Nintendo. There's too many games coming to Switch in the next 6 months. It's actually becoming absurd. But thank you so much for watching. On your left, my review of Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. On your right, my review of Super Mario Maker 2. Thanks for watching.